Put a beat on that, please. Ooh, 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 ooh. How's that? How did that come out?
Perfect or just great?
What the hell was that, man?
What the hell was that?
Let me look. Oh, that's the new Daily Wire movie. What the hell is a goddamn dumb thing called? The PendraGOON cycle. The PendraGOONer. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. The PendraGOON cycle. It's the people that made it are gooners, so I got mixed up. I totally forgot I've been paying. This is a great thing about doing this channel. I've just been paying Ben Shapino.
Booty hole waxed down.
I've been helping him get his
Booty hole waxed down. I'm out in Miami, ho.
Yeah, with my money, man. I've been paying for a Daily Wire subscription for like years, and I forgot about it. I think they have hundreds of my dollars from this.
Note to self. Cancel this crap after you record this.
But I remember I have this Daily Wire subscription. They made this movie, or show, whatever, series of movies. And I remember hearing Candy Owens. If you don't know who that is, she goes like this.
I'm gonna haunt you.
Oh, quick behind the scenes. That full drop, do like this.
I'm gonna haunt you.
So that's how she's gonna haunt everybody. It's disgusting. It's immature. But anyway, I went and watched some of this. It's an hour long. I guess this is the first movie or show or whatever the hell this piece of junk is. And according to Candace Owens, they like dumped a bunch of money into this. You know, the guy who was the CEO of the Daily Wire wanted to be a movie guy, man.
He wanted to be in Hollywood.
He wanted to be in Holly.
Toilets.
But they didn't like him because he sucks. So he used like a ton of Daily Wire money to make this like King Arthur thing from a book. And this really is, you could tell it's a kind of expensive. You know, it looks expensive. It looks, honestly, this is the whole thing with this, is I think they started dumping a bunch of money into this before AI video was a thing, and it just honestly straight up looks AI. That's how heartless it is. It just looks AI. And I found this on a Reddit thing. This is r/Arthurian, which I'm glad that exists. It's just people who love King Arthur crap.
That's nice.
King Arthur, also known as King
Pendejo.
King Arthur sit uponeth his throne, doing like this. Okay, come on. Don't belittle that stuff. But somebody in here totally, like, perfectly summarized what this thing is like. I'm just pissed off that Ben Shapino is not making a cameo and all this stuff. You know, he comes in,
King Arthur, you moron.
Booty hole waxed down.
What does this guy say in this Reddit? So, I might just be out of the loop, but how do we all feel about the show? The PendraGOON cycle. I hadn't heard there was going to be a show. Okay? Don't need all that backstory. But I'm not sure how I feel about Daily Wire doing it. Oh, that's kind of funny. These people love King Arthur stuff, but they're like, they're ruining the thing we love. Hate these morons. So this guy perfectly summarizes what it actually is right here. Looks like something from the Sci-Fi Channel in the mid-2000s. I mean, it really is. It's kind of weird watching this because it's like, I mean, the whole time you're watching this, like, yeah, this is a real production. Looks like it cost a bunch of money, but there's just like zero anything interesting about it. It's just like, oh, if I want this King Arthur story in a visual form, right? I guess this is what the Arthurian Reddit people would say. I guess this is that, technically. Like, it's basically they're clearly trying to do, like, Game of Thrones mixed with Gladiator a little bit. And it's like, Game of Thrones was kind of interesting because it was, like, ultra-violent. You know, ultra/weirdly violent, you know? You know, and it had pretty amazing actors in it and all that. And Gladiator was kind of interesting because it was directed by kind of an auteur director. And this is kind of like why these kind of people can't make good stuff is because they have no taste. They're just like, oh, I'll stick Gladiator and Game of Thrones together, and there you go. There you got it. They're just not trying to do anything new or interesting. It all looks like AI. These people just cannot make art. This guy wanted to be it's just like, I want to be a Hollywood guy, and now I'm doing something like that. You could just feel that through this thing. So there we go. That's the
Booty hole waxed down.
man's company that dumped millions upon millions of dollars of their ill-gotten gains, tricking meemaws and peepaws, so they could
We're gonna do our own Game of Thrones. I'm Hollywood now.
And it's a massive, boring piece of junk that looks like, one step above a sci-fi channel movie from the 2000s / AI-generated crap. Slop. They made a slop movie.
Are you being paid by any of the men who've been accused by Jeffrey Epstein?
No, I'm not.
I'm having trouble hearing right now. I wish I could respond to whatever nonsense she just blurted out.
I'm asking you if you have ever been paid by innocent crime.
Maybe somebody can.
An astonishing coincidence that you suddenly lost your hearing when you were asked a very difficult question. And rather telling, I may say.
I heard it.
I swear to God.
Okay.
I'm not saying you didn't get cut.
Give the guy a break.
If he can hear you, can you ask him that question? Because he can't hear me, but maybe he can hear you asking that question. I think it's a fair
Michael, can you
question to
hear
ask.
me?
Oh, there we go, man.
Oh, there we go, man. There's an interesting one. Piers Morgan always comes up for me. Like, I would never watch any of this crap, but it just comes up. Like, it always comes up recommended. YouTube is like, check out Piers. Check out what Piers is up to. And I go,
huh? Nobody is above the law, said the UK's top prosecutor
Piers,
about
Jesus.
Andrew Mountbatten.
But I was, listening to this when it came out, hour after it came out. And I listened to the whole thing. And this part did make me laugh out loud. This is friend of Glenn Greenston.
We know.
This is a friend of Glenn Greenman. His name's Michael Tracy. He's been around for a long time, Michael Tracy. And he's doing this thing where he's like, he's an Epstein truther. He's like, this is what he's devoting a lot of his time to over the past, 8 months. He's like, there's not enough evidence. I guess he's saying, I don't think this guy was doing that stuff people are saying that he's doing. And that, mountains of evidence show that he's doing. But this part was really funny on the Piers Morgan show, where there's this lady who interviewed, these victims of Epstein. She interviewed a bunch of them, and he's like, it's not real. This lady sucks. There's not enough evidence. And there's a part where she just goes, who are you working for? Are you working for some of these people who are accused? And this guy goes, I can't hear her. My earphone's not working. Which seems, I don't know. Is that true? Who knows? Seems a little weird. But he does eventually say, of course I'm not, you idiot.
Can you ask him that question? Because he can't hear me, but maybe he can hear you asking that question. I think it's a fair
Michael,
question
can you
to
hear
ask.
me?
Did you
Can
just?
you hear
I
me,
can
Michael?
hear you very faintly. Did you just allege that I'm somehow implicated in the Epstein criminality, or did I mishear you?
You're the main
I
guy.
asked if you were being
Tara
paid
asked
by
if you're
anyone.
being. Tara asked if you're being paid by anybody to smear the victims of
See,
the Epstein
rather than
scandal.
defend the merits
Hey.
of her journalistic output, which she can't because it's indefensible, what does she do? She tries to impugn me personally, tries to imply or
You're not
allege
answering
What's the
some
answer to the
kind of
question?
motive. Of course, I'm not
it's a
being
yes
What's the
paid by
answer?
anyone.
question.
I am paid by my
It's a yes or
readers
no
on
question.
Substack, you idiot. You just can't engage on the merits, Tara.
Hey,
you are disgraced.
can't say
I'm
that.
happy to go through all.
I'm paid by my readers on Substack, you idiot. You just can't engage on the merits.
Can't do that on Piers'
You
show.
are disgraced.
Okay, yeah, man. So this guy's been doing this for a while, And, there is obviously... It's weird because there is not only evidence of what people are talking about, trafficking and all this stuff, but there's also evidence of a giant cover-up, by the government, all this. There are people there's this lady, Whitney Webb, who's been all, she's all very popular on the internet. She wrote a 2-part giant book, 2-part series that goes over a lot of Epstein stuff. And I saw an interview with her where she's like, most of the news is focusing on the trafficking stuff, but this guy was involved in all kind of criminal crap. So there is that angle. But this guy, he's really going off on this whole thing of there's nothing to see here. And everybody's lying and they're not doing good reporting. I think you could come out and say look, there's a giant government cover up at the very top. So, they're really covering up evidence. And how are you going to get a real investigation? Something like that you could do. But this guy is just an attention seeker. He has kind of no shame. He'll just do anything for internet attention. Here's him on Glenn, 7 months ago. Here we go. Check out Glenn's attitude.
To welcome Michael Tracy to the show. Good evening, Michael. I'm really looking forward to a very focused, concise, and sober conversation with you about
I'm already sensing attitude. I'm already picking up some tude.
all of this.
Glenn, it's so wonderful to talk to you. I know you've expressed misgivings about
more
complying with the demands of thousands of commenters to talk to me about Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm glad that you've regained your confidence and are willing to have this hard discussion. I think it'll be very fruitful.
As you know, Michael, there's probably nothing I've devoted more time to over the past 2 to 3 months than talking to you about the Jeffrey Epstein case and the work that you've been doing on it. So
you refuse to do it on the show.
Now that you're in the news, now that you've managed to make yourself viralized and become the center of the story, we thought it prudent to have you on to talk about it. All right, let's begin.
The master of the passive aggressive tude, the great.
Let me ask you something, please.
Hey, so yeah, you could go watch that full Glenn Greenman.
Glenn Greenstone.
Glengarry Glenn Greenston. You know, absolutely soaked in attitude. I don't know, what the hell would you call that interview with this guy, Michael Tracy? Glenn's giving him a little bit of a hard time there, but if you do watch that, you're like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? You go watch the whole thing, it's like, what the hell is wrong with this weirdo? And what's wrong with him is that he's just completely... He's one of these people who is just like completely brain damaged by the internet. He's just like, what's gonna get me the most attention? Negative or otherwise. I gotta keep this attention ball in the air.
So you refuse to do it on the show.
Now that you're in the news, now that you've managed to make yourself viralized and become the center of the story, we thought it prudent to have you on to talk about it. All right, let's begin.
It's very weird because Glenn kind of, presses him, and he's kind of forced to admit that yes, there is a lot of evidence for the most terrible stuff, but then he kind of tries to, but this and that. It's just weird. You're like, oh, this guy's a creep or something. It's almost hard to understand, like, what's wrong with this guy? And that's what it is. He's what we call an internet person. He's internet brain. He's like, what crazy stuff can I say to get the most clicks and attention? Bad. Sort of like baby style, like, oh, crying gets me a lot of attention. Pooping my pants. Doing one of these gets immediate attention. That's basically what he's doing, I think. I mean, like this lady says, she's like, this whole thing makes you seem pretty suspicious. And if you watch the Glenn Greenstone thing, it's like, this guy seems kind of suspicious. But I don't think it's that. I don't think that he's like that kind of creep. I think he's just the anything for internet attention kind of creep.
Well, then, ladies and gentlemen, something
down.
crazy hit the wire, which is that Tucker Carlson was detained in Israel.
That's sick.
The journalist was dragged into an interrogation room, and his entire staff was halted from entering the nation. Oh boy. Okay. Well,
Shut
here we
up,
go.
man.
Now we're cooking.
Okay, this is an AI-generated state media guy. The most genuine man on YouTube. These numbers can't be real. 67,000 views in an hour. This is one guy where it's like, I don't know if I believe these views, man. I did search for this, and he was like the first one who came up. So maybe these views are real, but who the hell would watch this? Who the hell would watch this absolute gooner? People call him, not me. But this is this dolt. This is this AI-generated dolt, Benny Johnstone. Benny
Toilets.
And I heard about the story. I was like, what the hell is this? Where it's like Tucker Carlson is saying like, I went to Israel. They detained my little butt.
They detained my little khaki-ed butt.
So let's check this out. It looks like he talked to the goddamn New York Post here. Best logo. Let's look at the logo. That's cut off. Who cares? You get it. What does this hunk of junk right here say, please?
Let me ask you something, please.
Jesus, Glenn.
Turn the mic off if you're going to do that.
Tucker Carlson claims he was, quote, detained, unquote, in Israeli airport. But Ambassador says it was just a routine customs check. Let's see what, let's cut the crap here. Let's not listen to some weird little AI-generated pervert on this one. Let's just cut to what Tucker actually said. Men who identified themselves as airport security took our passports, hauled our little butts, our little tookuses. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Hauled our executive producer into a side room, and then demanded to know what we spoke to Ambassador Huckabee. Hucka.
Make pee-pee.
About the podcaster next whatever crap said in a statement to the Post. So this is kind of an interesting one. Okay, so this is kind of one where you're just like, yeah, the whole thing is probably weird. Because the way that Tucker Carlson went to Israel was he like basically called Mike Huckabee an idiot. You're an idiot. And then Mike Huckabee went back on Twitter and he's like, well, why don't you come here and interview my little old weird evangelical Christian pervert wacko butt. And then Tucker Carlson goes like this.
You're a moron.
And he actually goes there. You know, when Mike Huckabee is like a lunatic, like that guy's like legit, like a psychotic, escaped crazy person. So I wouldn't be surprised, like, if they did anything weird to Tucker Carlson, because he has said, you know, I mean, he's not a reliable narrator for anything, obviously, but he has said critical stuff about Israel. And he was there, you know, in a kind of a hostile interview scenario. So I would not be surprised at all if these wackos were aggressive with Tucker Carlson and his stupid little crew.
So Mike Huckabee invites Tucker Carlson to Israel.
This guy right here, this AI-generated guy, probably thinks that Mike Huckabee guy is really cool. By the way, this absolute psycho lunatic. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, stupid.
And then Tucker says, thanks for this. I'd love to. We'll reach out to your office today and set up an interview.
Great.
Tucker Carlson announced today he's in Israel. There you go. Tucker Carlson in Israel.
Yeah, I mean, Tucker Carlson, he's, you know, a lot of people defend him because he kind of, like, gets close to, you know, going off track slightly with all the, you know, MAGA crap and Republican crap. But I have watched so much of his show that it's just like, oh yeah, this guy's a lunatic moron and probably a CIA agent, you know, that goddamn guy. But I do want to see this interview with this old bonked on the head lunatic Mike Huckabee, because I imagine it's going to be like that Ted Cruz interview with Tucker Carlson where he's just like, you know, Tucker Carlson's like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
And then Ted Cruz like, yeah, I'm a human.
I'm not a rat man.
What are you talking about? You are a rat man. I'm not. Or whatever the hell they were saying in that interview. So hopefully this comes out. I would like to see like one of the dumbest people in the world, you know, just a representative of this evangelical con artist, you know, brainwashing psycho moron, just squirming Tucker Carlson, just torturing this guy. Two idiots, but one of them, you know, just torturing the other one. I do want to see that. But with this story, it's hard to know who to believe because, like, Tucker is like a, you know, bit of a liar, a lifetime liar. So who knows what actually happened. But I do have some, you know, like I've heard from people basically firsthand who have experience with this. You know, like the Israeli government does not like journalists. Let's just put it this way. They do not like journalists. Maybe calling Tucker Carlson a journalist is a bit of a stretch. But they are extremely... I'm stating the obvious. You know, there's much more, you know, things I'm not allowed to say on YouTube here, but it's all been reported about. Much more extreme stuff, but let's just put it this way. They do not want real journalists in there whatsoever. Even Tucker, who's a, you know, probably a CIA guy. Even him, I would not be surprised if they're giving him a little bit of this.
Boom.
Whoa! You know, Ooh, how many views on this? Ooh, not great. I saw people posting this on the Reddit. This is some video of, I guess they got somebody to cut this together for them. This is RFKJ.
RFK.
And Kid Rock, like, working out together. Like, they got somebody to cut this together and put music. Kind of poorly edited, if I'm gonna be real. They need a better department of video editing. Department of social media editing. But it's Kid Rock and RFKJ with their shirts off, wandering around. People pointed this out, this weirdo RFKJ, Cheryl's husband. He does this thing where he goes in a cold plunge. He's like, I'm going in the cold plunge. I'm gonna take a cold. And he goes in with his jeans on. Let's see that. Yep, jeans. Yep, there he goes with the jeans. Get rid of those jeans. Get some shorts, wacko. But whatever. People were posting this all over Reddit. I think I saw the Majority Report making fun of this too. It's like, well, what the hell is this? I think most people's angle on this is like, what the hell are you and Kid Rock doing? Grabbing each other's tuchus, running around with your shirts off. But like ostensibly, I like looked into this. I was like, what the hell? What the hell even is this supposed to be? And what it looks like they were trying to do in their bonked on the head brains, I wonder if Susie came in, you know, Cheryl's friend from Curb Your Enthusiasm. She comes in, she sees RFKJ in those jeans and that cold plunge. She's like, get your jeans off. You wearing your jeans in the pool? But what it looks like this is supposed to be is sort of like, you know, the government has done this kind of thing before. You know, I think Michelle Obama kind of did this where she was like, you should eat healthy. Like, they'll make videos, you should eat healthy. You should do this, you should do that. Hey, how about you eat a Caesar salad with grilled chicken on it? How about that? Anyway,
I gotta get the hell out of here.
you know, people in the government have done this, like media, where they're just like, you should do this is good. Do this or do that. So I think this is their version of one of those. You know, yay, you should exercise more. Oh, thanks. Thanks, morons. I've never heard that before. I mean, these are two wackos, two little idiots, lunatics. Okay, you and Kid Rock got your shirt off. Thanks. Thanks, my computer's broken now or whatever. But you know, like, if we want to give them the benefit of the doubt, it's like, okay, they're putting out some video that you should exercise more. Okay, I guess there's nothing wrong with telling people to get some exercise. But if you go watch this video, they're in this, like, I don't know if this is like Joe Rogan's house. It looks like this might be Joe Rogan's house, where they're like working out in this luxury gym. They're in a dedicated cold plunge room. And they're like in an indoor pool cave. This is probably Joe Rogan's house. Then they're in a sauna, an empty sauna. Kid Rock's doing push-ups. It's like, yeah, this is like useless to the average person. Like, if this were a real like PSA, it would be like, hey, you know, you don't need anything to do exercise. Here I am on the corner of Joe Rogan's house in Austin. We're going to walk to a public park. Here's some things you can do. Anybody can do. Like, that's how out of touch these bonked on the head morons are. You know what you guys should do? People who voted for us, go in your indoor pool cave at Joe Rogan's house. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. I mean, like, if anything, this is discouraging people to exercise. I don't have a sauna. I don't have my own dedicated empty luxury gym, so I guess I'm not doing that. But like, this is like, even if you give them the like total benefit of the doubt, it's like a disaster. Like, these are the most incompetent people on the planet, it seems. Oh, look at RFKJ there. It seems like a normal guy, the way he's behaving there. Okay, what are people saying in the comments? I'd pay to unsee this. Hey, you can't say that. Those are two high-profile individuals, goddamn you. Who came up with the idea to drink whole milk together in the hot tub? That is weird. Ironically unhinged. Kid Rock is built like a prepubescent 11-year-old. Hey, by the way, this is the New York Post YouTube channel. These are supposed to be friendly individuals. I Ken Klippenstein style obtained audio from this cold plunge situation from probably Joe Rogan's house of RFKJ going in that cold plunge. Here it is. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna go in the cold water now. Here I go. Oh, what a scandal. Oh man, Joe Rogan had to change that water out after what he done in there.
A post was made, reportedly on 4chan.
Already, man?
Stating,
come on.
Come on, man, you can't do that on the prestigious.
That's on YouTube. That's on YouTube.
Okay, of course.
Obviously, we gotta do a quick check-in with my favorite man.
My favorite man of all media.
Wait, hold on. 4 hours, 120,000 views.
Wow, not bad. Wow.
Wow.
Good for you, man, good for you.
But this guy's been uploading the best stuff of his quote, heavy quote, career, unquote. And this might be one of the better ones. I mean, just absolute fire. Check this out.
A post was made, reportedly on 4chan.
Great.
Stating that war with Iran is about to begin.
Oh my God.
What I can add to this is that my sources also indicate war with Iran is about to begin.
Yeah, do they exist?
I can't see the future.
Do those sources exist? Who's your source? Moondog? My source,
Paul Davidson,
recently asked me if...
You think Margot Robbie takes a dump?
Okay, so really, honestly, it's kind of sick. But for the past, 4 years, 4 years. I've been watching basically everything. It's really bad. It's a real problem. It's a real problem for me and my family. I've been watching like everything this guy uploads. And really for years and years, what this guy's saying is, he built a whole channel around this guy.
It's weird.
He really did. It's like
It's weird.
channel. And the main defense, it's like, why do you love this guy so much? He's stopping all these wars, man. I mean, that's like the main claim. He's stopping all these wars, man. That's why I built a channel, not to do this from meemaws and peepaws who are obsessed with this guy, but because of something with the no wars, man. And so here he is. Now it's like, it's like non-stop war. It's like mega war, non-stop. Same old crap, man. Same old crap, and now they're just like, we love this. He's like, we're doing all the same crap, neocon non-stop war crap, but also we're going to say that it's awesome on TV. So, you're doing this con artist thing that he does, this little scam he's running. What do you do now? Your main defense, your main reason for your whole channel has completely fallen apart. What do you do? I don't know. Let's check it out.
But I think it's a bad idea.
Right.
That's largely it. I don't think we should have gone into Venezuela, but it's proving to have been fine so far. I do think we should have intervened. The idea that we went in now and got Maduro, I find to be largely questionable. I'm relatively lukewarm, but not absolutely opposed to it. Just generally think these maneuvers can be dangerous for us because it could destabilize the region.
Wishy-washy, kind of, just like with a lot of stuff that you're not sure where your audience stands on it. Maybe good, maybe bad. 120,000 people watch this in 4 hours. I don't know. Maybe good, maybe bad. I don't know. What do you guys want? What do you guys want to give? Can I have money for this, please?
Now, I don't know what's supposed to happen in Iran, but I do know that Iran is a serious problem in the region.
Ooh, there we go.
That doesn't mean I think we should be involved in this.
Sounds like it, though, right?
In response, Brian Krasenstein said, do you support this? Which I find to be one of the it's particularly annoying.
I don't know why, but this is like one of his main enemies. This is some like liberal guy who always like trolls him. And he's just, apparently he just like stays up at night thinking about this guy. So yeah, this guy's saying the obvious thing. So yeah, kind of an obvious thing here. Hey, you've been going on your channel for, 6-7 years, talking all this anti-war stuff. What's up with this? You support this? And this guy's like, that guy's annoying. Okay. So far, so good, man.
You're absolutely nailing this one. Go ahead.
It's particularly annoying. Wrong, because it shows you that Brian Krasenstein doesn't know anything about me, doesn't follow the show, hasn't actually listened to any of my arguments, and this is the problem with liberals.
I think he's right, though.
What I can say is, at least I suppose he's trying. Maybe he could have tracked, literally any of my posts, clips, or otherwise where I say, U.S. intervention has a tendency towards destabilization and greater cost in the long run.
No.
U.S. intervention in the Middle East in the 70s resulted in what the CIA called blowback, where we ended up with terror groups all across the region.
Right, yeah, we get it, man. Yeah, we know all this. Anybody except your audience knows all this. It's just that you, moron, have been coming on here saying, he's going to stop all the wars, man. Kind of trying to go around that, right? Kind of doing a little bit of this. Right?
I do not see our involvement in Iran generally becoming a positive thing.
They've not really made the case for it.
Strong words. Strong words, man.
You voted for this, by the way, and then perhaps the funniest is the Fell For It Again award. You see, this is the problem.
Why would you bring this up? This is hilarious. So he brings up a post that says Donald, quote, no new wars, unquote, Trump. So it's like exactly what he's been saying. And then it's some like stupid drawing, Fell For It Again award. Okay, so they're making fun of you. They're making fun of basically what you've been tricking your audience into believing. Okay, so this is going to be a tough one, man. How do you respond to something like this? Also, why would you bring this up?
Right. You voted for this, by the way, and then perhaps the funniest is the Fell For It Again award.
Right.
You see, this is the problem with these libs. Donald, no new wars, Trump.
Right.
The point of this is to entrench Trump supporters into supporting Trump for war. This is a fake post.
Okay.
A true post in opposition to the war from any rational person would be, please join us in arguing against this. Not, haha, you're an idiot, haha. Because the only response you could make if your ego is challenged, the average Trump supporter is going to say, no, I didn't fall for it, I support it.
Right.
You don't want to be the creepy looking guy who's sad with 6 fell for it again awards, despite the fact Trump only won twice. So the ego of the Trump supporter at this point, fearing being offended, would just say, I'm in favor of the war, right?
Oh,
well,
okay.
I'm not, and I didn't fall for anything. They're going to cry and they're going to whinge about it, but as I...
Let's see that again. Let's see that one again. Because I think I heard something.
Of the war, right? Well, I'm not, and I didn't fall for anything. They're going to cry and they're going to whinge about it, but as I often said, Trump is an...
There we go, man. Once again, absolutely slam dunking it as, and I mean this is confirmed, the greatest news broadcaster of all time and the greatest little boy of all time. The greatest boy of my life of all time. And today's a very special day. I didn't want to make a big deal out of this, but it's huge. I present to him the award, the prestigious award, #1 best little boy of/in the world.
Look at my penis.
From now on, it will be known as the
Look at my penis
award. But that's pretty good. It's like, yeah, you've been lying to them the whole time. That's like painfully obvious now. And his amazing response to 120,000 people in 5 hours is, well, you should say that nicer. You should say that nicer. Also, I didn't fall for anything. No follow-up to that. Okay. Congratulations on your award. We love you very much. We're very proud of you. You're a good boy. You're a good boy, man. You're a good boy. You know?
Despite all this, you're a good boy.
Well, guys, fire another one. I'm finishing the final installments of the Quamens that I'm going to immediately upload. What is it? What is that? What is that word? Upload. That doesn't sound right. I'm going to immediately upload a new one because I want to hear what the hell you goddamn guys are up to. Are you doing this? Or are you doing this?
I'm a perfectly stable individual.
Which one? Which path have you chosen? We will see. And I got a book of like, what would you call it? This is a bigger thing I'm working on that'll come out Monday. I'm shooting for Monday. I think you're really gonna like this. I've been wanting to do this for a while. It's kind of a book of like a type thing, but bigger. So look forward to that. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Oh, you know who it is. It's me, little Johnny J. Quick note. I want to say something here real quick. Enough with that noise. Stop playing that noise. I only laugh at very highbrow comedy like a cartoon in The New Yorker. What is that dumb magazine called The New Yorker? You know, they have little captions on a cartoon. That's the kind of thing I laugh at. Not that noise. Okay, stop recording. I'm going to talk to my producer real quick. Actually, every time that plays, I start laughing so hard that I have to leave the room. I go in the bathroom. I'm uncontrollably laughing. Like, I can't even coach. Every time it plays, like, every time it plays, I start going, you know, I have to leave the room. I'm in the bathroom just laughing, you know. Okay, so hit record again. So stop with that noise because it's not funny. The kind of things I think are funny are like references to Victorian novels and things like that. So anyway, I gotta go. #2, bye.